Warriors versus Rockets, who's gonna win? Another matchup I know a lot of us are looking forward to is the Warriors versus the Rockets. Now I have the Warriors winning in 5, and let me explain why. I think the Rockets have had an incredible season. They have blown past everybody's expectations of them. We know Ime Udoka is a very good coach. He was the coach of the Celtics who got to the NBA Finals in 2022 against the Warriors. And I am a big fan of Alperen Sengun. If you watch this page, you know that. I'm so happy he got his first All-Star nod, and he deserved it. I'm not going to act like they don't have any experience on the team. You do have Fred VanVleet, who is an NBA champion. But for the most part, the guys that you are relying on, like Alperen Sengun, like Jalen Green, like Amen Thompson, who I'm also a big fan of. Amen Thompson, future perennial all-star. But none of them have any playoff experience. Not at all. And experience matters. I say this all the time on the channel. Experience really makes a difference in the playoffs. The only time it doesn't necessarily make a difference is if the talent disparity or the team, play disparity is like so wide that like it wouldn't even matter. So that combined with the fact that on the other side of the spectrum, the Warriors, since they've gotten Jimmy Butler, I think they have maybe the second best record in the entire league or something like that. They went like 23-8 since Jimmy got there. And there was a 2 games Steph was out where they lost. So like 23-6 if you don't count those because Steph wasn't even there. And I don't think Jimmy played one in the game. So it's kind of like 23-5. I'm saying when everybody was fully healthy and on the roster, right? So like they have been like unbeatable basically since Jimmy's got there. And I said this in the video the other day. Since Jimmy has gotten there, they have the #1 defense in the entire league, even over OKC. So a team in the Rockets where we look at them as a very good defensive team, and that is where you would think they have the advantage. They technically don't actually in this series when you're dealing with trade deadline, the best defensive team in the league. And then offensively, we know the Rockets are 27th, 28th in the league in like offensive rating. They don't score a lot at all. Sure, you have to be able to play defense and stop people in the playoffs, but the series are not going to be, 80 to 85 points, right? That's not how it's going to go. You're dealing with the Warriors team who I have to look, but I believe is also top 10 in offensive rating. You got Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler who combined for like 80 points the other day against the Grizzlies. So while they may not score 150 on you, they're gonna get up at least 115 on you. And if you can't match that, that's a problem. And it's not even just about scoring more points, which is obviously the object of the game, but it's also about the timing in which they do it, which also has to do with experience. There are certain shots that you take, time and place, that you learn how to take or the pass to make or the rebound to get with the experience. I talked about it in the video where I talked about the Pacers. They ended up beating the Knicks, but they almost didn't because they made so many mistakes that it was clear that a lot of them were mistakes because they just, they'd never been to the playoffs. So like it's different. The pressure, the way you can play defense, just things that happen. And so like they almost didn't win partly because they were just making some silly mistakes. And the Warriors are not only going to recognize that there are ways to make them make mistakes because they're not going to know from not being in the playoffs before, but they will also capitalize on those. They will get some fast break points and that'll be the end of that. I think the Rockets this summer have to go out and get somebody, whether it's trade or in free agency, somebody who can add to scoring on the team. Playoff Jimmy, I haven't even mentioned him, but I feel like I don't even need to because we know playoff Jimmy is a thing. He's done it time and time again. He will take over, and I literally am not even like, I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy drops 50 in one of these games. And I'm not saying he's going to need to drop 50 on the Rockets for them to win, but like he dropped 56 on the Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis, okay? Jimmy does it. I really just don't think this series is going to be as close as people have been making it out to be, because I've been, listening a bit. I like to hear other people's predictions, the analysts on TV and stuff like that. I've heard quite a few people actually pick the Rockets. I think a lot of the games, if not all of them, are going to be close, hard fought to the end. Because every time the Warriors and the Rockets play, that is literally how the game goes. Even when the Warriors get a nice lead, the Rockets don't give up. And so I do expect most of the games, if not all of them, to come down to the wire, so to speak. Like I said, playoff experience, knowing time and score, knowing what to do. And I expect the Warriors to close every single time, right? So I have the Warriors in 5. I give the Rockets 1 game because I think the Rockets obviously have shown why they deserve the number 2 seed. I could see it being a sweep, I'm going to be honest, but I say Warriors in 5. I just feel more comfortable with that.